Welcome everyone again. My name is Maciej Halas. I'm a product management director of product management here at Timesys. I'm going to introduce to everybody today Timesys product, which is LinuxLink. For our i.MX 6 reference design, we have recently added into our product, and so i.MX 6 processor, as many of you know, is a processor released by Freescale roughly a few months ago. There are not that many reference designs around the processor yet. We have partnered with a company called Boundary Devices, and we have enabled our LinuxLink support together with Boundary Devices and Freescale on a Boundary Devices reference platform. So I will talk briefly about LinuxLink product today, and then about our current support for i.MX 6. Before I start with the slides, and this is not a long presentation, I wanted to point out that there are two panels on your right. One which is a chat panel, and the other one which is a Q&A panel. So throughout the presentation, feel free to simply post your questions there. We'll do our best to answer your questions as we go, but we should have enough time towards the end of today's half-an-hour session to answer any remaining questions. Okay? So with that, let's talk about LinuxLink. LinuxLink is a Timesys flagship product that we offer to our customers as a subscription. It's designed for engineering teams looking to build embedded Linux devices in-house, but build them very easily without any complexity that's typically associated with embedded Linux. We oftentimes get a question, well, Linux is free, and our answer is yes, it is, as long as your engineering time and resources are of no value. We have created a set of tools around factory-built system that we've developed to make the task of building custom embedded Linux easy. We also offer tools such as debuggers, profilers, and tracers that help you identify different types of issues, bottlenecks with your software, and it's just, again, based on open source technology. Together with that, LinuxLink comes with expert unmetered support for the duration of the subscription. You get access to our engineers. You can ask as many questions as you'd like. Every question is a fair game. There's a set of documents that you can use and leverage as you develop your custom embedded Linux-based product around i.MX 6 processor. Now, together with LinuxLink offering, we have also the professional services offering. We can help with all sorts of embedded Linux projects and bottlenecks, challenges around device drivers, developing device drivers, trying to find some of the issues with them, Linux kernel enhancements, anything around the operating system, but also we can help putting together a complete embedded Linux design around i.MX 6. And as we know, processors, and especially i.MX 6, is not a fairly simple processor. It's actually, as a matter of fact, a growing in complexity. You have different additional modules that are added on top of the processor, and in fact, making it more complex, a bit more difficult to develop or enable if you have some of the custom components attached to it. But that growing complexity is also pulling the complexity around the software, of course. And when it comes to LinuxLink framework, we made it easy by implementing a three-step process. Step one, where you choose software that's relevant to the type of a product that you're building. For example, if I'm building a multimedia playback device of sorts, I need to include in my design a Linux kernel with appropriate device drivers enabled. I need to include some of the software that takes advantage of hardware acceleration on i.MX 6. I need to develop or get from somewhere a set of cross tool chains with libraries and header files integrated with it. And speaking of which, libraries and header files, that's what you typically install in the root file system. That's what you would choose different APIs that are relevant to the type of a product that you're designing. Right? So finally, bootloader is the first software that runs on your custom hardware. So with those software components selected, you can submit a work order or a request to build a custom board support package and a custom software development kit into our factory distribution builder tools. And those tools will simply combine your selected software into a board support package and a software development kit. Board support package typically is a runtime set of images that include Linux kernel with all the device drivers and a root file system that you can very easily deploy on the i.MX 6 platform. With a software development kit, you can very easily install it on your host and you can develop your application software, if you will. Now, together with that comes our Eclipse-based IDE called Timesys, with which you can develop your application. Timesys integrates nicely with software development kit and makes the entire process of not only building the platform, but developing your application very easy. Yeah? So that's, in short, a description of the building process with Timesys tools. Now, Timesys tools provide value across the entire development cycle, whether you are at the beginning of the project, mid-project development, or you are already doing QA. Timesys tools support activities around Linux kernel porting to custom hardware, board bring up, device driver development, debugging. They help you develop your root file system, and also help you integrate with third-party software. Okay? And third-party software can be considered software that you develop, but also software that you purchase or get from other sources, software that's not necessarily open source. Timesys tools also assist greatly during the application development. Today, the reference boards, such the one from Boundary Devices, they are becoming cheaper and cheaper. Every application engineer can get a hold of a small reference design and start developing application in parallel with the custom hardware development. Right? So that step at the hardware level enables companies such as Timesys to enable you, customer, early on with tools that support your application development efforts. And as such, we have those tools. We offer profiling, tracing, debugging tools. It's very easy to design, for example, Qt-based applications. Our tools integrate Qt plugins inside our Eclipse framework, from Eclipse framework. And you can very easily design a nice and neat UI to what you see is what you get approach. You drag and drop different widgets on a canvas. You then program the logic for them, and you can compile it for your local host, or you can cross-compile it very easily for the target, in this case i.MX 6, with appropriate SDK that's installed underneath the Timesys tool. Okay. When it comes to support, you get access to Timesys engineering team. Our embedded Linux support organization is staffed with Linux engineers who can directly answer your questions. The triaging or the layers of, you ask a question, then it gets dispatched to somebody else, then gets dispatched to somebody else, has been completely removed. So you will get to chat directly with our engineers. You submit tickets. Those tickets are tracked to completion. And every question is a fair game. Even if you're working with a custom hardware, if you have a question, you can always ask it. If we can reproduce it or find the answer for you on a reference design, our support organization would help with that, would answer your question. Now, if your custom hardware is required to tackle some of the questions that you're asking, that's probably more towards the professional services and other types of engagements that we could put in place. But Timesys support comes with great expertise in a variety of embedded Linux topics and can help you greatly resolve your challenges and accelerate your embedded Linux development. Speaking of which, to accelerate your embedded Linux development, we also offer plenty of self-serve documentation, educational materials that you can find on our site. We record videos where we explain how to do X, Y, and Z in the embedded Linux. You will find topics ranging not only from how to work with Timesys tools, but purely embedded Linux topics, such as how do I boot from an SD card, or how do I debug my application using GDB server approach. Okay? If you're interested in training, we can offer customized training. We would talk to you first about your specific needs, what you're looking for, and we could offer that either at your site or here at Timesys. So that's it about Timesys support. Now let's talk about the i.MX 6 platform support. Today, I'm happy to tell you all that we have the LinuxLink for Freescale i.MX 6 available now. And the reference board that we have used to enable our support for the i.MX 6 processor is the one from Boundary Devices, and the board's name is Nitrogen6X. The initial support is based on a 2638 Linux kernel. We expect to have 3.x kernels in our LinuxLink system in the near future. But that initial support comes with a complete suite of device drivers that support not only system-on-chip peripherals, but also Nitrogen6X peripherals. So that includes SATA ports, Ethernet drivers, frame buffers, watchdog timers, USB, audio. All three hardware acceleration components are there and supported with all the device drivers, CPU, GPU, and IPU. And very soon, you are going to also see a GStreamer framework for the different hardware accelerated components inside i.MX 6 be integrated with our LinuxLink product as well. So it will be very easy for you to simply pick the right set of APIs, including hardware accelerated components, and build a complete embedded Linux platform, customized platform for your end product. i.MX 6 is very feature-rich. You can design a variety of different applications for different market segments. As a matter of fact, our tools have been used in many different applications in many different market segments. Some of them are mentioned on a slide in front of you. So depending on the type of a product that you design, whether it's wireless WiMAX networking product, or maybe more of an automotive in-car entertainment bridge, or consumer sort of, even cappuccino maker, right, which is my favorite on this list. i.MX 6 is very powerful, can deliver a lot of horsepower, and together with Linux and with LinuxLink, you can design very easily and very quickly embedded Linux-based product. So in summary, we have partnered with Boundary Devices and Freescale to offer you that LinuxLink support on i.MX 6 processor. The LinuxLink provides you with a complete Linux-based solution, very easy way to customize your embedded Linux software. If you need engineering help, more engineering help, we can offer professional services. We can help you with different types of applications in different market segments. And to start working with our tools, all you have to do is visit our website, www.timesys.com, and register for a free account that will allow you to access our web-based tools with which you can either download a BSP for i.MX6 or design your own custom BSP with needed APIs very easily. If you decide to use the BSPs built with our web interface, the upgrade path to commercially supported tools, which would provide you with desktop setup tools for greater advanced customizations. The upgrade path is very straightforward, and you're not going to lose any cycles this way. Okay? So at this point, I'd like to very quickly show you how easy it is to build a custom board support package using our web-based tools. Okay? So I'm going to share with everybody right now a Firefox frame with our website on it. There we go. And just to point out, to request a free account, when you visit Timesys.com, simply click on this Use LinuxLink Free Register Now button. And after providing all your information, you can pick the i.MX6 Linux link, and you will be granted a free access to our web tool to develop a custom board support package for i.MX6. So with that account, when you log in, this is the screen that you're going to see. Very quickly, you can either boot Linux on your i.MX6 by simply clicking on the Boot Linux on my board. We have a pre-built BSP for you here that you can download. Or you can very easily build a custom board support package. You simply create a project. And let's say that I'm building a coffee. That was something else there. Automotive infotainment. And I can pick the Boundary Devices Nitrogen6X board, which is again the board that we have used to enable our tools on i.MX6 processor. And I can create a work order, which is, in other words, a new definition or a new BSP definition. And let's give it a name. I can build as many BSPs as I'd like. So the step one is to pick a Linux kernel, 2638. I can click on the Linux kernel. I can find out very quickly what drivers are enabled, which ones are tested, disabled. So all that information is here. When the Linux kernel is selected, I can move on to a toolchain selection. Here I can choose from either glibc or small footprint UClibc based toolchains, and Timesys recommends a specific combination of GCC, glibc. So if you're new to Linux, believe us when we say that those toolchains are very well optimized to produce good executable code on the i.MX6. Very well optimized code for i.MX6. So with the tool chain selected, I can right now design my root file system. And let's say that I want to use the OpenSSH. Let's say I want to use drop there. With this interface, you have access to roughly 1,400 different packages, open source packages, that provide functionality in graphics, multimedia, networking, utilities of different type. But the smart search window here helps you very quickly narrow down your selections. So let's see if we have a web server here. Well, there are quite a few of them. So I can use Apache, I can use BOA. Again, you can click on a package, you can find out more about the package and also where it was sourced from. So I can say, I like BOA. And with that, I'm going to navigate to the next screen where I can format my root file system for deployment. I can format it for deployment onto SD card, and there's a tar.archive for that need. If I have a NAND flash, I can format it as JFS2, or if it's small enough, I can format it as MIGRAM-FS. Tar archive is good for me. Now, the tool is also taking care of first level of footprint optimization by removing unneeded content from the tar file, or from every single package in that root file system, right? Man pages, info pages, again, very useful when you develop on a host, but when you run those APIs, those libraries on a target, those man pages, info pages don't need to be there. Okay? So the tool is taking care of that. And we've arrived at the advice engine where, well, Timesys tools are telling me that, well, I did not include any of the shells or initialization packages. Right? So one of the core recommendations includes BusyBox. So I'm going to say yes to that. And conflicts. Well, I selected both OpenSSH and DropBear. And as you can see, they provide very similar feature functionality, and Timesys recommends that you use DropBear and deselect OpenSSH. And I'm going to agree with that. Of course, you can deselect DropBear and select OpenSSH if you'd like by simply going back to Packages selection screen. So with that, we've arrived to the summary page where we can inspect all our selections, Linux kernel, toolchains, root file system contents, and at the bottom of that screen, you will find a build button. When you click the build button, the build is going to be submitted to Timesys system. When the build is done, the person, in this case demo user, is going to be notified via email of the status of the build, and that email will also include the direct link from where I can download my custom board support package. Now, with either pre-built or custom board support packages, what does it take to boot that Linux on the Nitrogen6X board? Well, there's this Getting Started guide for Boundary Devices Nitrogen6X, and that guide takes us through the entire process of setting up an SD card and then booting Linux on that SD card using the either Timesys built BSP or your custom BSP. Okay? All right. So with that, I'm going to stop sharing the web interface, and we'll go back to the slides. I wanted to thank you all for your time today, and if you have any questions, feel free to send them to us, to sales@timesys.com, or if you still have a few minutes, I'm going to be online together with a colleague of mine, and we're here to address any questions you may have. Thank you.